WWE Universe is extremely disappointed in Sami Zayn's booking ahead of WrestleMania 39. WWE has gained more faith in Dom Mysterio. Former WWE Champion suffers a serious injury. Bobby Lashley legitimately unhappy with WWE. Ric Flair real-life heat with Sami Zayn. Roman Reigns destroys unconscious Sami Zayn. Plans when Roman Reigns takes time away from WWE. Let's jump right into it. WWE has gained more faith in Dominic Mysterio. WrestleMania is usually when many superstars raise their game and climb the ranks in WWE. This year could be Dominic Mysterio's time to shine, as the latest reports state that he's managed to gain WWE officials' trust in recent months. The 25-year-old star's WWE career finally seemed to take off after he turned heel and joined Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio has thrived being the annoying and cowardly villain in kayfabe, and he's gotten even more popular since his prison stint. Mysterio has seemingly matured on TV, and his performances have also been well received by the decision-makers within the promotion. As reported by WRKD Wrestling on Twitter, the company is now more confident in Dominic's abilities on the big stage. The newfound belief in Dominic will also lead to him appearing more on Raw and SmackDown ahead of WrestleMania, where he is expected to wrestle his legendary father. WWE has gained more and more faith in Dominic Mysterio in recent months and plan on using him on both Raw and SmackDown leading to WrestleMania, where the current plan is to face Rey Mysterio in a singles match. The one-time SmackDown Tag Team Champion recently spoke to Sportskeeda's Raju Dasgupta. He opened up about getting jeered by the fanbase after becoming a Judgment Day member. As expected, Dom continued the ongoing angle with Rey Mysterio and admitted that his dad was never there for him when he was growing up. The young superstar justified his questionable on-screen antics and had a defiant message for all his haters. Here's what he had to say during the Sportskeeda Wrestling exclusive. "There's something about these fans that they just don't seem to understand that my dad wasn't there for me. He was never there for me, so there's a reason why I do the things that I do. But I don't really care for the fans. If they're booing me, so be it. It is what it is," stated Dominic Mysterio. Have you been impressed by Dom's development? Share your views in the comments section below. Former WWE Champion suffers a serious injury. Injuries are a regular part of wrestling, and it seems like WWE is plagued by another injury setback. This week's SmackDown saw a rift develop between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre as both men stated their intentions to go after the Intercontinental Championship. The duo were interrupted by LA Knight, with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods soon also making their way to the ring. Karrion Kross also came out, and a brawl broke out between all the stars after his entrance. The Herald of Doomsday was the last man standing. Following the fight, it was announced that the five men would clash in an Intercontinental Championship qualifying match next week to see who faces Gunther at WrestleMania. However, it seems like WWE will have to alter the match a bit as one of the participants reportedly suffered an injury. According to Brian Alvarez, Kofi Kingston could be sidelined for the foreseeable future. Zero News added to the situation, stating that the former WWE Champion could be out for a long time. It was also noted that the company is looking for a replacement. With WrestleMania 39 less than a month away, Triple H will need all his stars to be available. However, WWE has suffered multiple setbacks in the last few weeks. Ronda Rousey was also added to the list of injured stars on this week's SmackDown. The baddest woman on the planet was scheduled to team up with Shayna Baszler to face Tegan Nox and Natalia. However, Rousey appeared in an arm sling and revealed that she was injured during an earlier brawl. Shayna instead faced Tegan Nox in a singles match. It was later reported that the former UFC star aggravated a previous injury on the blue brand. However, she is expected to be fit in time for WrestleMania 39. Apart from Rousey, AJ Styles is also currently out of action after suffering an injury at a live event late last year. Randy Orton and Big E have also been on the sidelines for a long time and are unlikely to be back by the time of the Showcase of Immortals. Bobby Lashley legitimately unhappy with WWE. Since returning to WWE, Bobby Lashley has lived up to the expectations of becoming a top star and made up for the mistakes in his first run. The Almighty left WWE in 2008, and Bruce Pritchard recently opened up about the circumstances behind the high-profile exit. Due to obvious comparisons to Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley was always viewed as a future world champion during the mid-2000s. Despite showing immense promise, Lashley endured an underwhelming stint and eventually departed WWE to explore a career in mixed martial arts. Many rumors did the rounds back then regarding the reason for Lashley's WWE release, as he featured in a few prominent angles during his tenure. While speaking on this week's Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, the WWE executive revealed that Bobby Lashley was unhappy with his position in the promotion and saw leaving as the only option to solve his problem. Pritchard clarified that there were no controversies involved between WWE and Bobby Lashley as the organization strives to amicably part ways with the former ECW champion. Here's what WWE Senior Vice President had to say about Lashley's frustrations with WWE. Bobby was just unhappy. I think that Bobby was frustrated with where he was at the time, and Bobby was just frustrated with a lot of things. He was not happy, wanted to leave, and that was a point where if you're unhappy and you don't want to be here, okay, let's work something out so you can leave. It was as simple as that. Many fans don't seem to like the newly introduced feud between Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt. However, WWE continued to build the storyline by offering a rather bizarre segment on this week's SmackDown. Hearing the Raw Stars music hit on the blue brand got many surprising reactions from the crowd and the commentary team. Lashley proceeded to the ring to cut a promo addressing Bray Wyatt. While the former WWE Champion could not get his hands on Wyatt, Uncle Howdy showed up to attack Bobby, and fans interestingly picked up a glaring hint about the mysterious figure's identity. Howdy vanished just as Lashley began to turn things around during the brawl as Bray continued with his mind games against the former Hurt Business member. Have you enjoyed Wyatt and Lashley's rivalry thus far? Sound off in the comments section below. Sami Zayn rolls out new challenge. WWE star Sami Zayn threw down a challenge for the Bloodline member Jimmy Uso to face him on Monday Night Raw. This week on the blue brand, Jimmy interfered in Sami's match with Solo Sikoa, leading to a win for the enforcer of the Bloodline. After the match, they initiated a beatdown on the former honorary use. However, Sami threw a steel chair at Sikoa, hit a hell of a kick on Jimmy, and then escaped from the ring. WWE correspondent Megan Morant caught up with Sami Zayn on this week's SmackDown Lowdown. Zayn rolled out a challenge for Jimmy Uso to face him on Monday Night Raw in Boston. Here's what I'm gonna do, Jimmy. I'm gonna give you an opportunity. I'm gonna let you try to live up to your responsibility for Roman Reigns this Monday in Boston, Sami said. The master strategist mentioned that Roman Reigns would deal with Jimmy when he will lose to Sami this Monday. You take me on in Boston and I will make sure Boston is the same city where the Bloodline crumbles. When you come up short against me in Boston, I know what's waiting for you on the other side with Roman Reigns. So Jimmy, how about it? Monday night, Boston. What do you say, my dog? Feeling juicy. Ever since the Royal Rumble 2023, the Bloodline has been in disarray. After Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa destroyed Sami on Roman Reigns' orders, Jey Uso deserted the faction and hasn't been seen beside the tribal chief ever since. On the latest episode of SmackDown, Reigns made it clear that he was running out of patience with Jimmy Uso for not being able to get Jey back into the faction. The tribal chief warned that if the latter does not return by next week, Jimmy will have to pay the price. Do you think the Roman Reigns-led faction will crumble under constant attacks from Sami Zayn? Sound off in the comments section below. Ric Flair real-life heat with Sami Zayn. After wrestling for several years on the independent circuit, Sami Zayn signed with WWE in 2013. He spent nearly 2 years in developmental before making his main roster debut in 2015. He is currently one of the most popular superstars on the roster. Despite his current status in the company, the former honorary use rubbed some people the wrong way backstage earlier in his career. Speaking on his Woo Nation Uncensored podcast in February 2022, WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair revealed that he had real-life heat with Zayn. The Nature Boy claimed that actor Johnny Knoxville was the only person the former member of the Bloodline could defeat. That's the only guy on the roster that Zayn could probably beat. If he gets heat with me, he's got to get heat with the Marks, he said. The 16-time world champion also pointed out that it was hard for him to communicate with Zayn backstage compared to his real-life best friend, Kevin Owens. For me, personally, when I got to make small talk to get along with Sami Zayn, that's all I've got to say. When I got to walk through to make small talk with Kevin Owens, who is 10 times the performer and a great guy who understands and respects who I am, and Sami Zayn kind of easing around in the hallway and I got to make small talk to connect with him, he's done in my book, Flair added. WWE Hall of Famer JBL also quit his job as an agent because of Sami Zayn because the latter questioned every decision he made. However, the two men do not have any animosity toward each other. Although Ric Flair was initially not a fan of Sami Zayn, the WWE legend has seemingly changed his opinion of the Canadian superstar after his performance in the Bloodline storyline. Speaking on his To Be the Man podcast last January, the Nature Boy praised the former honorary use. Of course, the guy who I've hated, Sami Zayn, stole the show. How could I have not appreciated you from the start? Because he used to say you got heat with me. Boy, you really have heat with the Marks, he said. Zayn is currently involved in an angle with the Bloodline. On the latest episode of SmackDown, he took on Solo Sikoa in a high-octane encounter. Despite Zayn's best efforts, Sikoa emerged victorious, thanks to interference from Jimmy Uso. Roman Reigns destroys unconscious Sami Zayn. At tonight's WWE Live event in Toronto, Roman Reigns savagely attacked Sami Zayn after picking up a big win in the main event. Reigns and Zayn battled at Elimination Chamber 2023 and the Tribal Chief came out victorious that night. The duo met again at tonight's WWE Live event in Toronto. Reigns won tonight as well, and will now head toward WrestleMania 39 to defend his title against Cody Rhodes. After the Tribal Chief defeated Zayn, he took a shot at the live crowd and ended the speech by telling them to acknowledge him. Reigns then launched a brutal attack on an unconscious Zayn. After his second consecutive victory over Sami Zayn in a span of mere weeks, Roman Reigns is seemingly done with the former Bloodline member. The Tribal Chief will now focus on a much bigger task at hand, which is to put Cody Rhodes down at WrestleMania 39. On the latest edition of SmackDown, Rhodes and Reigns engaged in a passionate promo battle. The American Nightmare had the following to say to his WrestleMania opponent: "For some, you have become this impossible mountain to climb, but that's kind of my thing." Really, if you think about it, he can't be any more than Randy's understudy. Here's no way Cody will survive Stardust. Goalpost moved again. There's no way that 10,000 people would pay to see me and my Buddha's little indie show. And ever since then, the goalposts have continuously moved and I consistently punch it through the uprights. So for everyone else, Roman Reigns might be impossible, just not for me. Rhodes looks as focused as he's ever been ahead of his big match against Reigns at Mania. It remains to be seen if he manages to do what the likes of Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Edge couldn't. Will Cody Rhodes defeat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? What's in store for Sami Zayn at the show of shows? Plans when Roman Reigns takes time away from WWE. Undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns is unquestionably the biggest star in pro wrestling right now. His segments and matches are always the most must-see parts of any show. His Bloodline counterpart Paul Heyman recently commented on what his future could be like if the Tribal Chief were to step away from wrestling for a while. The head of the table has been the Universal Champion for over 2.5 years. Since uniting both world titles at WrestleMania 38 against Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns has taken on a lighter schedule, working only in promo segments most weeks and has stopped working on many live events. There is speculation that if the Bloodline leader drops his belts to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39, he might take some time off from wrestling. Paul Heyman was asked in an interview with Sports Illustrated about his plans if Roman Reigns would take a break from wrestling. "I mean, we're talking a lot of hypotheticals here. I'm firmly embedded in the portrayal of the special counsel and the wise man to the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. I'm sure there are things that I can do in free time should there ever be a time that we take some time off. The right deal. The market's hotter than it was yesterday. The market will be hotter tomorrow than it is today. Of course I can. Thank you for your confidence in my ability to under-promise and over-deliver on that," Paul Heyman said. Cody Rhodes punched his ticket to the main event of WrestleMania 39 when he won the 2023 Men's Royal Rumble. While he has had verbal altercations with Paul Heyman on a couple of occasions in the past, he has never confronted the Tribal Chief himself. That changed on the most recent episode of WWE SmackDown. The two megastars squared off in a verbal clash in the opening segment on Friday night. The former Shield member tried his hardest to get under the American Nightmare's skin by bringing up Roman's history with Dusty Rhodes, but the latter didn't budge. Roman Reigns mocked Cody Rhodes on a number of occasions, but the former AEW star did not get physical. The execution of the segment made their impending clash even more exciting. Do you think Cody Rhodes can fulfill his lifelong dream of becoming WWE Champion at WrestleMania 39? Let us know in the comments. WWE Universe is extremely disappointed in Sami Zayn's booking ahead of WrestleMania 39. WWE is headed for its biggest event of the year and superstars from Raw and SmackDown are busy punching their tickets to WrestleMania 39. Meanwhile, one of the biggest superstars in the company, Sami Zayn, took another pinfall that made fans believe that the company is poorly booking the Canadian star. Last month, Sami Zayn had the biggest and most important match of his career in his hometown when he faced Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WWE Elimination Chamber 2023 PLE. Regardless of his valiant efforts, the former honorary youth fell to the Tribal Chief. Last night, he stepped inside the squared circle to face the Bloodline's Solo Sikoa. However, he failed to get the job done when he lost to the Enforcer. Fans believe the company is horribly booking the former Intercontinental Champion in order to stop his growing momentum ahead of WrestleMania 39. Fans also pointed out that Zayn was able to take multiple spears and Superman punches from the Tribal Chief, but quickly lost to the Samoan Spike in a match on the Blue brand. Earlier this year, Paul Heyman began accusing Sami Zayn of hurting the Bloodline. During the trial of Sami Zayn on Raw is 30, Heyman doctored evidence against the honorary youth that almost got Zayn out of the stable. However, the dynamic between the Bloodline and Sami Zayn has completely changed over the past 2 months. Speaking to Jimmy Traina of Sports Illustrated, the 57-year-old star called Zayn one of the most endearing characters in WWE. "I didn't imagine Sami Zayn becoming a massive part of this when Sami Zayn was becoming a massive part of." To his enormous credit, Sami Zayn seized the moment. We'd give him crumbs of a segment and he would just turn it into a moment that he had to connect with the audience with what I think has ended up becoming the most endearing character that we've presented in decades, if not ever, said Paul Heyman. Last night, the former Intercontinental Champion lost to Solo Sikoa of the Bloodline. It will be interesting to see if he reunites with Kevin Owens or Jey Uso ahead of WrestleMania 39. What are your thoughts on Sami Zayn's current booking? Sound off in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing